I think the people that I get to work with day in, day out, the culture from the top down. We're a God-fearing, God-honoring company. He has blessed us, and to work in a place like that day in, day out is truly, I think, an exception in our country. That I wish we had more places like that.
We will go ahead and call this meeting to order. We're here to chew the fat. There you go. Literally. We'll have barbecue next time. Call this meeting of the Amarillo Local Government Corporation's Board of Directors to order here on Wednesday, November 2nd. We're a little bit past our 11:30 start date, so we'll move right ahead. Let the record reflect there is a quorum. All seven of us are present here today. I want to welcome our visitors and guests that have joined us for this meeting today. Appreciate your continuing interest in the work of the Local Government Corporation and the doings in downtown Amarillo at this point in time. The first item, action item for consideration by the body is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting of the Corporation Board held on October 19, 2011. The board members were provided copies electronically of those minutes in your packet by staff late last week. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to consider to those minutes?
Mr. President, was it indeed correct on the second to the last line that our next meeting was scheduled for November 28th?
No. You're good. Any other questions or corrections?
No charge for the extra 8. My apologies.
City Secretary call.
I can't read a calendar.
Anything else?
You got the 2.
If not, we'll entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes with that correction. Second? Second. Been moved and seconded that the minutes be approved as corrected. Those in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. As opposed, the minutes are approved. Let me take the chairman's prerogative here. Be a good deal of time spent by this body in executive session here today. As always, however, there has been included on the agenda the opportunity for public comment from interested citizens on matters pertaining to the work of the Local Government Corporation. And if someone has comments that they would like to make at this point so that you don't have to wait until the end of the meeting, now would be the time to do so. So does anyone care to make any comments at this point here today?
I would.
Yes, sir. Tell us your name. And
Jerry McGee, and I'm a local business owner, subcontractor here in Amarillo, and was curious about the hiring of viewing construction as a construction manager, as it shows on the Downtown Amarillo Geek website, and what the connection is, and what their function and role will be with the project.
It's not the construction manager for a CMO risk. It is owner's rep.
Okay. So owner city?
Owner of the project, the developer.
Okay.
Wallace
So
Wallace Patel.
Okay.
So they'll be assisting in making sure, managing the contractor and architect's portion of it to make sure that the value is being received. Oversight.
Okay. And qualifications of that contractor that's selected? I mean, is that something that's going to be made public? Will the agreement, as the agreement with Wallace Bajali, will that be made public as well?
It is public on our website.
She sees everything. Agreement on the construction manager.
Yes, sir.
I guess right now it's not public, but I'm sure it will be.
The relationship exists between two private entities, meaning Wallace Bajali and
So the city's not
so
part
it's
of
really
that.
not within our purview to be involved in that.
Okay.
There will be a selection process for all the public projects that are mandatory by state law.
Of course. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? All right, then. We will move now into closed session. I hate it that everybody walks in the door and sure you don't have anything to say, right? Before we run everybody out for a closed session. Okay. Convene our open session at 1:31 p.m. Let me suggest that we move and take things a bit out of order by moving to item number 5 on our agenda, which is the consideration of the approval of a master development agreement addendum. Is there a motion to be offered?
I will take a shot at that.
Okay.
I would move that the master development agreement dated February 15th, 2011 with Wallace Valley and the LGC be amended to provide for the immediate reimbursement of pursuit costs incurred through August 23rd, 2011 in the approximate amount of $947,000 upon the following conditions. Number 1, proof of payment of all bills and release of liens, if any. Number 2, transfer of ownership rights in the work product to the LGC. Review and approval of the addendum by the document review committee, authorizing the president to execute on behalf of the LGC.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion regarding the motion that is before us.
Just one point of clarification. What he specifically said was transfer of the items to LGC, but that still is going to provide them access.
This transfer of the ownership.
Transfer of the ownership.
They have all the access in the world.
The joint transfer of joint ownership. Cause us to be joint.
Everybody has access.
Okay. I just want to clarify.
Mr. President, the purpose of offering the amendment is because we've had such success, meaning Wallace Valley's had such success in getting us to this point. The anticipation was that there were going to be pursuit costs incurred. Those are budgeted and provided for in the documents that we previously adopted. And really the only reason for the addendum is to clarify when we are to pay the money. And the reason we have to have the clarification is because it was originally anticipated that there was going to have to be an election for that to be the triggering moment. But we're not able to do that, so we just have to say, well, good, we're at this point, so let's go ahead and make. Obviously, what's happened is to the best interest of the LGC, the city, and the citizens of Amarillo, because we have less costs that we're going to have to incur, far less risk on citizens of Amarillo. So this is a good thing for us, and all we're clarifying is the moment of payment.
It's not a new expense. It was an anticipated situation. It's part and parcel of the $113 million project budget that has previously been adopted by the City Commission and voted in the Court of the Public Opinion here in Amarillo for several months. So as Richard said, it's the point in time that payment was made, and the motion will cause that to be effective on the meeting.
It's basically the price for figuring out how to do this. And it's been figured out every year.
And that's feasible.
And this has been brought about by the fact that we've gone the route that we have gone. No expense to the taxpayer or to the tax rate, as opposed to a bond issue, which of course would have been the obligation of the taxpayer. This cost would have been the same.
Exactly.
But the payment trigger, we're correcting today.
We're 4 months ahead of schedule. 5 months.
Under the motion that was made, do we have any idea how long it should take us to be able to do what was made in order to complete the transaction?
I think from what Dean Frigo has told us Monday, he already has essentially all the documents and he's wheeling through them and it's pretty much there. So.
And the cash is there.
And the money's there. So
it won't take us but just a little time to show them this is a very circle.
It's a matter of the drafting thereof and our committee getting together briefly to concur that it meets the intent. What will be expressed today.
You get me?
Simpson, I just wasn't actually.
Yeah, which I dutifully ignored.
That's why we asked them.
One other question.
So the answer is quickly.
Will that be paid by the city? Will that be transferred back to the LGC and be paid by the LGC?
It will be paid by the city, and the logic there, we've had a big discussion on that. The city was the owner of the agreement up to and including August the 23rd. These expenses were incurred up to and including August the 23rd. They were booked as an expense in your 10-11 budget, and there.
So maybe we ought to send the city a bill for all of our work in discussing this.
Go ahead.
I think you guys owe something.
We get the big checks. We just will
Thanks for that, $10. Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Those in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, President Boyd. And thank you also to your able staff who's been very good to work throughout this process, and we look forward to continued effort.
As Richard so eloquently stated, we're very pleased, Joe, and thank you for your efforts and your continuing efforts, and we look forward to certainly this being a success as we move forward.
We know it's going to continue relationship.
Okay, let's backtrack a little bit to item number 4 on the agenda, and that's an update on downtown redevelopment project status. And I'll just kind of turn to Jared and Joe and Melissa in terms of that being a bit of a catch-all category in terms of anything we need to discuss at this point in terms of any element of our development projects.
Thank you, Mr. President. Expect that we'll keep this item on all of our upcoming agendas. It does provide the opportunity for staff and their consultants and partners to give you the update. At this point, having addressed the items we have today, I would say from the staff standpoint, major focus is on the legal agreements and the contracts that are necessary to implement the project. They are contemplated in our master developer agreement. We're working on that. Those are standalone documents. They're good documents. I think they'll be somewhat voluminous, but they're important because that ultimately is the protection for all parties and is the how these things will work and how they'll happen, and very importantly, how we'll be able to enjoy them over the next 50, 60, 70, 80 years. Expect that as we do that, we'll be back.
Speak for yourself in terms of the length of time. I don't know that I've been
Well, if I put a shorter number on that, someone will be offended with me.
It's like me talking about water for 250 years.
Yeah, if we're wrong, come tell us we're wrong.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, that is moving. Marcus and your outside counsel are ready to make the flip back on the next version of that. I expect immediately following that is when the anointed members with reading skills will be digging right through it. Joe, Melissa? Anything?
We are, the folks at Wyndham have continued to express interest in getting these moving back slower. The operator agreement is in draft form, and as is the franchise agreement between the operator and Wyndham. All the documents are moving forward. We have to set all the closing things. Everybody's going to have to close at once, so all these agreements are going to have to be there to make sure that they're in place. So all of that is underway. It's a massive undertaking. Then this continued discussions on the infrastructure, on moving that forward, updating the schedule. I can anticipate that you'll be hearing more about those in the recent or not too distant future. But outside that, it's limited updates since our meeting 2 weeks ago.
All right. On to item number 6 is the announcement of the next meeting date. We would anticipate our next meeting would be on our regular meeting date in 2 weeks, on November 16th, which is the third Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. in this room. So we can all firm that up on our calendars as our next opportunity to get together. Item number 7 is a public forum. Of course, we had an opportunity early on, but again, per the agenda. Are there any comments at this time from any interested citizens on matters directly related to the work of the LGC? Okay. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.